What are we going to do in part 6? We're going to open a file called Brisbane CBD, and it contains a layer of text. That's good. I don't have to do the text myself. I like that. I don't like playing with the text. Import as a layer the photograph called Brisbane CBD JPEG. Good. I want to create 3D text. Okay. So we're going to be doing that, and the layer needs to be called text. Make sure that the area outside of the text on the photograph layer is transparent. Add a drop shadow between the 3D text and the background layer. So we want to drop shadow between there. Crop the image closely around the 3D text and its shadow. Hide both the text layer and the background layer and save it. Alright. Yep. Reading through that and then save it as the best file type. Okay. So we're going to open Brisbane CBD.xcf. File open. Brisbane CBD.xcf, and it's given me the text. That's good. I'm going to open as a layer the JPEG file to put it behind it. I would like to see it. That's good. Okay, what have we got to do? Notice the file. Import that, create 3D text. Okay, so we've got a couple of steps to do. I am going to, just for now, for myself, I'm going to make a copy of the text layer. I'm going to hide it, and I'm going to put it at the bottom. Just so if I mess it up, I can always go back to it quickly. Okay, and I also will want to use it later. So, is this text layer in the right place for me? It's hard to tell like that. I can turn the opacity down and see where it's going to go. Okay. If you don't like where it is, feel free to move it, but okay. Remember, that's going to affect the overall scheme of things, you know, where there's black around the outside, etc. So I'm just going to go with where it is. But you can move it if you want to. So what do we got to do with this layer? We've got to blur it. So we're going to go blur, Gaussian blur, and it says really clearly in all of the documentation of doing 3D text, about 1 pixel for every 100 it is wide. So I'm going to do 7. I could go 8, it's not going to hurt, but let's go 7. A Gaussian blur of 7 pixels. It's done that. I'm going to move this behind my CBD now. I am going to do my bump map. Bump map. I want my bump map to be my text layer, not my text copy, my text layer. And I've done what I always do. ITF1 and F2 will always tell you I seem to select the wrong layer. I need to make sure I've got the photograph selected, then go map, bump map, and make sure I've got that as my bump map, the text layer. Again, you don't have to play with this. You can if you want. I've gone and made it a little bit deeper, and I click OK. I now need to select my text layer, copy that text layer, add a layer mask of white, and paste that in and anchor that to the layer mask. I'm going to hide my text. I'm going to put the background in so I can see what I'm doing. I need to make sure I'm on my layer mask again and go colors, levels, and adjust my input levels usually sliding the white triangle down and then the grey triangle down a little bit so that the edges of it become sharper. Okay, again you can play with that. I need to then, so that's done that, I need to add a drop. Make sure the area outside of the text on the photograph layer is transparent. It is, because if I get rid of my background layer, I've got transparency all around. What I need to do is I need to create a drop shadow. Add a drop shadow between the 3D text and the background layer. Good. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to use either my text layer or my text copy layer. It doesn't really matter which. I am going to do a select by color, which is this one here. Selection mask copy, it is, but no, I want to do this. I'm going to select here. I'm going to make sure I've got on my text copy layer, even though it's hidden, I can select all the black. If I'd use my text layer, because I'd blurred it, it would give slightly bigger selection there. I am going to, before I do that, I need to invert the colors, not of the selection. If I'd done what I was going to do there and delete all the black, I would have been left with nothing. I actually want to invert this so I've got black writing. I'm going to select white. I'm going to clear that, edit, clear, and I am going to select none, and I'm going to use this layer to create my drop shadow, opening up the window there. It's there, but it's behind my background layer. I should put it up here. There is my drop shadow. Okay, I can move that layer if I wish so that it's not sticking out so much. I can move it to something like that. Yeah. I need to check what I need to do. Crop the image closely around the 3D text and its shadow. Okay, so I need to crop that. Let me draw a selection. I can see this is pretty good over here. If I just go a little bit out from that and draw my this is left over from before. I want to make sure it's not fixed, which it was from before, from earlier in my trial test. So if something like that happens, just think about what you've done before with that tool. I need to draw. I'm happy with the right hand side. I want it a bit more on the left and the top. I can now go image, crop to selection. I now have what I want. It says here, hide both the text layer and the background layer, and anything else I may have put in. Text, background, text copy. Oh no, take out that text layer. So I've got that. Save the GIMP XCF file, save as, go to my work that I've put there, save, and then it asks me to export that as the best file type for the image. That's definitely a PNG for this one, so I'm going to definitely save this as a PNG and hit export. it then says to close the GIMP because we are finished. On the real prac test, it will actually then tell you to make sure all your files are in the U drive. Again, I'll make sure all my files are here. There's my Brisbane CBD one. I've got everything I really want in there. So I've been pretty successful with that so far, and I'm pretty happy. Hope it was helpful. Bye.